Every time that we hear a game is being remade, we have to worry about the curse of the modern audience. Every company wants to modernize their content so it doesn't offend people, and so they don't get canceled. And a few months ago, we heard the Silent Hill 2 remake would be a bit different since they were adjusting scare factors for contemporary audiences. And now, one of the past series writers has said there is no way they can remake this without upsetting longtime fans. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and to the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So I wanted to start off with this PlayStation Lifestyle article. Silent Hill 2 Remake will upset people, says the series writer. And of course, whenever you hear anything like this, it's instant red flags because we don't want content that is going to upset people. I love Silent Hill. I love Silent Hill 2, and I don't want this to upset me. It says Sam Barlow, the writer for previous Silent Hill games, is concerned that Silent Hill 2's remake by Bloober team cannot be done without upsetting people. Now, a couple of months ago, they had done a Silent Hill showcase where they announced a bunch of future titles, and Silent Hill 2 Remake was on this list, and the trailer actually looked pretty freaking solid, but then we saw Bloober Team's name, and if you don't know what Bloober Team has made, they've made some disasters. Now, they made Observer, which is very highly regarded, a lot of people do really like it, and of course, they made Layers of Fear, which are also very highly rated. The second one was very mixed, but the first one was extremely positive. But then we get into complete failures that they've made, like Blair Witch. At its core, it wasn't awful, like the gameplay was okay, it just was riddled with technical issues, and the story was kind of mediocre. And then the Medium, what a disappointment. I was so excited for this game, and it just was a nightmare. Technically, it had a lot of problems. While the story seemed really cool, and the gameplay also seemed really cool, it just was very poorly executed. So Bloober Team does have some good games on their list, but they've also got some major fails here too. So as a very mixed development studio, it is worrying to see them be handed such an iconic game. It says, though, having worked on Silent Hill Origins and Silent Hill Shattered Memories, Barlow is actually excited to see how the developer will change and modernize the classic horror game, but he also believes that doing a remake of it is like the biggest poison chalice in video games. Now, I will say the problem with this interview is that every single time he talks about it, he says a remaster. This is not a remaster, this is a full-on remake. Judging by what he's saying, I do think that he knows that. He just calls it the wrong thing, but I do feel it's important to point that out. He says, personally, I'm less excited about playing a remake. It's also like the biggest poison chalice in video games, doing a remake of Silent Hill 2. I mean, good luck to them, because I don't know how you can do that without upsetting people, and it is true. Everyone has the original Silent Hill 2 in the back of their head. They know the characters and the mechanics and the story, and people have so much nostalgia for this game, and to remake it, unfortunately, things are going to be changed. I mean, we have already heard that, and I will show an article on that in a minute, but when you go into a remake like this, you have to focus on giving fans the content that they want. Unfortunately, though, time and time again, we've seen with remakes that isn't the case. Developers are more worried about modernizing it and bringing in a new audience. I don't think that they can remake this without upsetting people, because no matter what they change, even if they change one tiny thing, fans are going to be upset. The same thing has happened time and time again. I would love a really good remake of something like Silent Hill 2, but I am someone who would rather see them leave that content alone than remake it and butcher it. I also previously had talked about this article by Niche Gamer. Silent Hill 2 Remake aims to be faithful, but will adjust scare factors for contemporary audiences. And these are two very different statements, because you can aim to be faithful, but if you are going to adjust the very core of the game, which is the scare factors, I don't understand how they also are aiming to be faithful at the same time. It says the chief marketing officer talked up the developers' two games currently in the works, Layers of Fear and the Silent Hill 2 remake. She was asked about how the team came to be the ones taking on the mantle of remaking such an influential game. I do feel like it is because they have had a couple of hits and they just got lucky that they didn't have a giant project that they were working on, and ultimately the people who were looking for the development studio decided, you know what, let's just go with them. I do not like that, but it is what it is. I still want this game to be good. It says the fact that we're developing a Silent Hill game is an honor and a dream come true. Silent Hill 2 is a classic that shaped how our studio works on psychological horrors. But while she couldn't give more details due to the game still being in the middle of development, she did talk up their approach to recreating the classic horror game. Longtime fans shouldn't worry about us missing the point while we're livening up the title. We faithfully stick to the traditional story canon while remaking the gameplay and updating the graphics from the ground up. As you see, we are not straying away from the original concept of making this cult classic. We just have some ideas on how to make the peculiar scare factors more appealing to the contemporary audience. And that's all that we got. And people have, of course, been very worried about this. I am pretty worried about this. They are saying that they're going to try their best to stick with the original concept, and I really, really hope they do. But when it comes to remakes, over the past couple of years, I instantly think of the Resident Evil series. We've gotten all the remakes up to 4 now, and each one has been different from their original counterparts, whether it is minor story changes or pacing changes, added content, or unfortunately, like I've talked about, censorship. There have been minor changes. I just hope going into Silent Hill 2, the changes are also more on the minor side and not major. Whenever, though, I hear about a game being changed for contemporary audiences, or even one of the, series writers coming out and saying that it will upset people, these are all major red flags and have me extremely worried. I still want this to come out, and I still want it to be amazing, and I'm still holding on to some hope for this, since it's probably like a year to a year and a half away, but there's a lot to worry about here. They don't have an official release date for this. They have teased potentially the end of 2023/early 2024. Whenever it comes out, I will be giving it a chance. I am pretty excited for it, but if you love Silent Hill 2, just keep your eye on all of the news surrounding this remake. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.